Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Tad.
Good evening, or for you on the East Coast, good morning.
Yeah, that is true. That is 2 a.m. It's still night. It's still evening. For me, anyways.
Technically, it's morning, Dan. That was the...
I know. Nobody gets up at 2 a.m., Todd.
Oh, that's not even true, but...
Yeah.
Good morning. Someone is.
Someone is. Good morning, good night, whatever the case may be. It's all good. So yes, God, we're getting so close to Halloween. Like, it just feels like this month is just gone
Over?
already.
Yeah.
I mean, it just about is. But yeah, we keep hammering out the reviews for you guys. Be sure, if you didn't catch it, we just recorded our Hell House review earlier. And once again, check the channel in October because there's a lot of stuff you might have missed. So, yeah, this movie has, well, I shouldn't say our main movie because that may not be the case, but our big budget movie tonight has been in the works for a very long time. And I know a lot of people are excited to finally experience it. It just dropped on Peacock today. And yeah, I guess we'll get right into it. So Five Nights at Freddy's from...
Did you say also in theaters, Dan?
Also in theaters, yes.
Yes.
Also
I did see it in Dolby Cinema today, so.
Yes. I saw it on Peacock. I wanted to get out, but I was just like, man, I'm swamped. So I did the streaming thing for this one. But we'll get into that in a minute. So Five Nights at Freddy's from director Emma Tammy follows a troubled security guard who begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. All right, so this one kind of has a long development history. I know they were trying to get this movie made for a very, very long time. And you could argue maybe they waited too long because I know
you were saying that the game still is popular and they're still making new versions.
They are, but I feel like the mania's dried up a little bit because like there was a time when like it felt like this was everywhere, like 4 or 5 years ago. It seemed like this could have been a massive hit. I think it'll still do well, but yeah, it's kind of like the Slender Man thing. You know what I mean?
I knew, and that's where I was trying to head off on that. I don't think it's the same because I think there's still the fact that the property is still active. It's still out there. It's not like Slender Man, which is a story that had kind of disappeared by that. It wasn't what it was. I don't know. I feel it's a little different because just the way the one's still active and the other one was a story from years ago. I don't know. It just feels different.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm kind of curious, especially with it streaming day and date, how the box office situation will pan out. But I should say going in...
Well, I was going to say 345 Dolby screening was packed.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know because I'm totally unfamiliar with this. I know my nephew and my nieces were super into this once upon a time. And I kind of figured this was more of a kiddie property, to be honest.
I saw like young kids in there, tons of them. I was like, well, makes sense. It's a gay movie. If I was that age too, I would really, I want to go see the movie too.
Yeah.
Normally little kids annoy me, but I was like, I get it on this one. It's a video, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm curious as we get into the movie. So, like I said, I'm totally unfamiliar. So I'm just judging this as a regular movie that I was going in blind on. I don't know anything about the lore. I can't say how fans will react to this because I'm coming at it from a non-fan perspective. And I don't know. It's like we had the Banana Splits movie. We had Willy's Wonderland. I can't say I was like too keen on a Blumhouse take on it. I will say this, it's not exactly what I was expecting. Um, in fact, it's not really a kiddie movie. It's a little bit,
It's a dead kitty movie.
yeah, it felt a little bit more somber and kind of slower than I thought. Like this one really was a little bit more
Are you about to
moody.
shock everyone, Dan? Did not hate it?
I'm not there
I
yet.
don't know. I feel like you're
A
leaning that
slow
way. When you're
build.
not done, I'm not putting
Uh,
words in your mouth.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I really thought this was going to be just stupid.
You were
I
expecting your normal Blum.
normal Bloom, which is very, very stupid. Um, I appreciated the Jim Henson's workshop on the creatures. I thought, or whatever we want to call them, the robots. I thought that all looked pretty cool. Now you do feel the rating on this, even though it's not as geared towards kids as I thought it was going to be. There is like cutaways for everything. In fact, the only real gore moment, which isn't really a gore moment, is somebody being torn in half in shadow. So that's about as far as you get to actually seeing any of the good stuff. So I think a lot of hardcore slasher fans are not going to be happy. I think this is one, if Kruger were able to make it tonight, I sense he probably wouldn't have liked this one too much.
I think he likes the property though already. We'll hear from him eventually on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to have him weigh in. But it's more atmospheric than I thought. It's probably a good gateway horror movie for kids. Like it's not completely neutered to the point where it's just nothing.
Well,
Now, it's
here,
not on the level of like the 80s and 90s stuff that we watched, a never ending story. Not that that's a horror movie, but a lot of shit that wouldn't be in that movie now, in a modern movie now. They weren't afraid to scare and disturb us a little bit. Dragon Slayer, that's a good example. That's the dragon stuff, and that was legitimately frightening. So this, yeah, I don't
well,
know. It's
the one thing though is it keeps on in the tone fits the game.
mm.
So it's
Do
like,
you?
so if you're able to play that, I feel like this scare level's right there. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you see like people being torn apart in the games, or is it?
here's the thing. I have limited experience with the games. I
Mm.
actually picked it up cheap because there was a PlayStation 5 or 4 collection, and just to try, I could not figure shit out on the first game, and I just poked around on the second one.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I tried to figure. I don't think there's really anything to do. I think that was just like one of those like, okay, Slash, you're gonna have to. Is there anything to do in the first one? I couldn't figure shit out, but we'll talk about that later.
I know
Um,
my nieces collected a lot of the books too.
and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's still like popular. That's what I'm saying. There was little kids there. I mean, like 8, 9. So I mean, that tells you the property still, with
Yeah.
the market it's aiming for. And I know they're still making brand new games too. And because I really do love the concept. I mean, what 80s kid, or didn't want to, like, didn't think about the Chuck E. Cheese or the Showbiz Pizza animatronics coming to life, and I mean, that's just what, again, our entertainment was different back then, so that made perfect sense to us. So it's like, even
I
though we've
want the fucking Chuck E. Cheese version. I know we've had a lot of
you know what
animatronics now, but
I
I
was
want Chucky killing crackhead Chucky, the modern Chucky at the beginning of the movie,
you know
power bombing him into the ball pit, except it's all like razor blades.
Yeah, well, I mean, back in my day, it was a cigar smoking rat, but I mean, versus the one now. But I agree. Like, I was thinking that during, I was like, if someone could just get them to do the license. I don't think that you could get Chuck E. Cheese, but maybe you could get Showbiz Pizza, which was also, they were both the same time, and Chuck E.
Yeah.
Cheese does own. So I'm sure. It's weird though, because not everyone has the same. I feel like everyone knows Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza is a
Mhm.
little less, but they were both giant in the 80s. So
Yeah.
this concept, I like rewatching the first two movies, I was even more excited for this one. Just the concept alone. I mean, not even the game. So
The first two games, which what are you talking about?
I'm
Movies?
talking about the film. It's oh sorry. I rewatched the Banana Splits in Willy's Wonderland. Just
Oh, okay. There you
the
go.
other
Just
two yeah.
clarifying. I thought there was some animated thing. Yeah, I mean, this movie it does go a little deeper. I mean, you definitely feel for Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike. I'd be kind of curious how deeper that lore goes in the books and everything. I think I
Yeah.
asked my niece today. I was like, "So what exactly was this?" And the best answer I could get out of her was like, "It's about robots and stuff." So I was like, "Yeah,
Well, they
thank you.
may
That
may
really
not be
helped."
deep in the lore, but I think Slasher was saying the lore, yeah, the lore is deep as hell. So it's got a
Yeah.
pretty big lore. And that's the one thing, like I have limited experience in the game. I picked it up because I kind of wanted to know the world a little bit.
Mhm.
I will say I thought the control room nailed it because playing the first game, that's like which it felt
Mhm.
like you're in the control room of the game, of the first game at least.
It does feel like a proper horror film for younger people. Let's just
It's a
put it that way.
this is what a PG-13 horror film should feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of stuff they push down, but I mean, this is what you have the PG-13 rating for. This feels like a PG-13 horror film versus a lot of stuff you can tell it. Every
Yeah.
movie now is shoehorned into PG-13
I
because they
don't
want
get
to make
the
that money.
Yeah, I didn't get the vibe that there's gonna be like an unrated
I don't
version.
think it
There
was.
might Yeah, I don't think they
Yeah,
ever tried to be any more than
no, I think they hit the tone exactly what they wanted, and yeah, I'm fine with it. But I like stuff like that. I like Spirit Halloween the movie. I've already watched it this year. It's
Mhm.
just what I like. That's a little more kiddie, maybe about on par. A
We get
little
a really good
less.
cast, and I can kinda see. I mean, they don't, like, go right out and say it, but I can kinda see, like, some of the more fucked up elements, that I could not imagine that they would hint at in the books, but, it has a very good cast. Mary Stuart Masterson is the bitchy aunt. We got Matthew Lillard, of course. It's always great to see Matthew Lillard. I thought the look of the film was really good, and I didn't realize going in, but this director, she made the 2018 film The Wind, which I was a big fan of, and I was impressed. It's not quite as commercial as I expected. And again,
Well,
obviously, we just watched it, and I don't know what people are saying, but I feel like this isn't going to be dumb enough for a lot of people. I think there's going to be a lot that just wanted a lot of the animatronic action, and they don't get a lot of that.
I think it's going to depend on because I don't know how much of this is from the lore. I want to say it is because after rewatching Willy's Wonderland, it feels like the lore is like the lore is borrowed. Because I
Mm.
mean, they get a reason to get him in there. I mean, that is Ty or whatever. But you have the owners with the history and the deal with the animatronics is all there in Willy's Wonderland too. So and
Mhm.
it's in this one. So I'm feeling like that is part of the lore. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
not, it's really weird you have it in both,
yeah.
just slightly different. So it has to be part of the core lore of Five Nights. If I'm wrong and anyone knows, please tell me.
I'm curious for anybody that has played the games, maybe read the books in the chat. Like, did you like this? Did you think it was faithful? I think a lot of people are going to be upset that it's just not that slasher movie with animatronics that they were hoping for it to be. Uh, Again, and that might just be the people that are not familiar with the book or the video game, but slasher home video. It's about a guy who wears purple and stuffs kids' bodies in animatronics. It's from the game. um,
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. Red Bat said Peter Piper Pizza also. That was another animatronics one. Thank you. I totally forgot about that one. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Is
I,
that the
I think
UEW legend Red Bat, or is that a question mark?
no, that's the Red Bat also.
There you
CCW
go.
superstar. Come on.
CCW superstar. There we go. Could have been an imposter.
And Batos Locos podcast. See, I got your back, Bat.
There you go. I didn't hate this. I mean, I'm like a little bit. I didn't love it either. Obviously, this is not particularly my thing, but I sat down, I watched it, and I was like, it's a good gateway film. It's something that at least has some mood and atmosphere to watch with maybe you're a younger kid or whatever. Like I would sit down and probably have a good time watching this. I'm not a dad, but I do have my nieces and nephews, and I might even see if they want to see it in the theater because they don't see anything horror. So I'm like, maybe I can get them.
Yeah,
to go.
this might be a good one for that. I did like it. It's one I was looking forward to. I wasn't disappointed. I don't know deep lore. I know the first game, which is nothing. But I knew the look and I know the concept, and it did really. I didn't know what I wanted from it because I don't, I'm not deep lore, but it gave me a good time. For an hour and 50-minute movie, Dan didn't hate a Blumhouse production. He may not love it, but he had good enough time. Okay, and before we rate it, I want to bring out Pug's notes because he was too late for him. Five Nights at Freddy's. This is a pretty dark and creepy story. I dig it. I loved Abby. She needs to be protected at all costs. The audience it's aiming at is in for a treat, I think. Good enough for adults, but perfect for Abby's age range. I love the knife wipe and the Terminator moments. What an asshole line from the pharmacist worked for me. Legitimately laughed out loud. Very fun time. I love this world and I'm excited for more. Oh, the redial button on the phone bit took me back. Ha ha ha. All right. 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, damn. I'm surprised he liked it that much. You know what? And I didn't mind Josh Hutcherson. He's an actor that I haven't been too keen on in the past. It's been some things that I was just like, he's very just vanilla, kind of boring.
Yeah, it depends what he's in, but I get that. Yeah, I definitely get that. He was perfect for this part because he kind of got to be like, because he's kind of the older brother and kind of it worked. I really do think.
So at the end of the day, this Banana Splits the movie or Willy's Wonderland.
They all have something, and let's rate it first, and we have Pugs.
Sure, then we'll shoot the shit a little bit. I give this one a 3 for me. Like, it's not something that I personally will go back and watch anytime soon, but I would definitely watch it with younger members of the family. And then, like, immediately, like, I'll take that momentum if they like it. All right, Cannibal Ferox next. Let's go.
No, you slow it down. That's your problem, Dan. Then you go, come on, well, I have this other one, Willy's Wonderland, and you up the gore and get a little more violence. Then you can move on.
Then Cannibal Ferox.
No, I was gonna go Child's Play and work your way up, Dan. Do it slow.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm with Plugs on this one. I'm a 4.5. I already want to watch it again. I'm pretty sure I'll watch it again before Halloween. Again, love the world, fun time. Not too. I don't know if we're gonna have a spoiler section, but Pugs has one note that I'll at least bring up to you. Let's hold off on that till after we do have one more, and maybe in the contention. Maybe that's my favorite one. You don't know, so we should probably talk about the best the best Chuck E. Cheese ripoff after we review this next one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Another one.
Dan, I know you forgot, didn't you? But that again, you said that could be the one you liked more. That may be the main event.
It could be the main event. Yeah, give me 1 second. Sorry. I actually
That's all right.
closed the window too. I was like, we're doing a solo, and I was like, no, we're not doing a solo. We got two.
Ben
So
Ben said they had Pistol Pete's Pizza in San Diego. They had an animated band. Right.
now I know I've been to Pistol Pete's at some point. I could have even gone in San Diego. But that's around a few locations, right? That's a chain.
That I don't know.
All right. So up next we have our ITN mockbuster, I guess we can call it. Freddy's Fridays. They should just have, and just in parentheses, please don't sue us.
Freddy's Fridays.
So this
plural.
is directed.
Fridays, plural. Come on.
They should have snuck like an Ice Cube lookalike in there, like just so it's like a mockbuster for like two different things.
There you go.
That would have been fun. That would have been fun. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Freddy's Fridays. Let's get to it. So this film, which has a very flimsy synopsis, an evil man lures prostitutes to his lair to be sacrificed by monsters. All right. So just to build on that a little bit, yes. So this character whose name is Todd. That's oddly enough. I'm sure they didn't know anything about anything that might be going on.
This is a different country. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Legend spreads. So he is essentially picking up these hookers and taking them to his dungeon and getting off on making them read from this book. This book of
you already know it's not me.
And this Book of the Dead is covered in human flesh, and it has like an eyeball that's moving on it, which doesn't tip the women off. I thought that was like kind of like, hey, maybe you shouldn't read the Latin in this. And it made me laugh because the guy is just like, it's okay, just sound it out. Like, I think that was one of the lines. And I'm just like, yeah. And it's a cool looking book too, actually. The production values are strong on this coming, this ITN stuff.
They got that Winnie the Pooh money.
They do, although that Ben J. Williams is not from Winnie the Pooh, but some people are listing this though as being produced by Scott Jeffries and the team behind that, but it's
but they're probably referring to the studio behind then.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering because the IMDb is not complete on the credits, so I'm not sure. But he's doing this, which summons these demons, one of which is called Frederic, which I do kind of wonder if this began its life as a mockbuster, or if at some point they had an existing script and just said, hey, that Freddy thing is coming out, let's just get in on that action. So strangely enough, this one is it's not exactly what I was expecting. In fact, it opens up as more of a Hellraiser movie in a strange way. In fact, the opening scene was like, oh, wow, it just felt like we just summoned the Cenobites and they're just furries now. They kind of are. I was watching this and like the first scene, I'm like, furry Cenobites. This is kind of neat. I kind of like the furry Cenobites. And we got like a scarecrow. We've got a killer clown, this sort of rabbit looking thing. I think that's what it was supposed to be. And I guess a puppet Cenobite I would call the one. and which looked like it might have been recycled from something else I've seen, but I'm not positive. And surprisingly enough, this isn't awful. Now, a lot of these low budget British movies, most of which are produced by the team behind Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, have a habit of just kind of taking themselves a little bit too seriously. And this is not like a campy B movie feel by any means, but there was some practical gore in here and some CG as well, but the way they kind of lit it, it's very dark. It wasn't too distracting. And it's a lot gorier than these films. That's one issue. A lot of these movies are very bland. And
Yeah.
maybe now Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is not, but I think part of that was because it just caught on fire on the internet. I think what Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey might have looked like otherwise if it had just gone direct to video might have been more in that vein of taking it a little bit too seriously. Now, this one is a little dialogue heavy still at times, but it's relatively breezy at 70 some minutes. And some of the kills were nasty. It felt more like a direct to video Hellraiser movie, which may not be a good thing for everybody, but it felt more like that than the Curse of Humpty Dumpty or, any one of these million movies that have, for the last like 4 or 5 years now, has been like 90% of what you see at the Walmart DVD section.
If they got that deal, they fucking hit it till the day Walmart stops.
Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, they're just going to hit it until
It's gonna be the only thing left. It's just gonna be ITN releases.
all ITN British films. I liked this. Now, it is 100% a B movie. I just found myself kind of having fun with this English Todd guy just summoning Cenobite furries to murder hookers. It
I
worked.
mean, it sounds like a good time. I can't.
Yeah. It's still low budget. I don't think they necessarily had any more money on this than they did any other production, but I feel like this is one where they kind of maybe listened to, if not ours, some other reviews where it's like, okay, if you're doing stuff like Curse of Humpty Dumpty and all this stuff, it shouldn't be so dry. This at least brought the gore. Could have been some more skin, really.
But if you're killing hookers,
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe you up that a little bit. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey had a little bit of skin.
you don't want me. You don't want me to take control of this film. It'd be a lot.
It'd be a lot more perverted.
Dan would give it a 5 if I had full control of this one.
But I liked it. It was more mean spirited than I expected, and we get some cool kills. The knife in the top of the head. We get some decapitation action. I like the actors in this, although I will say with a lot of these low budget British movies, usually the acting's always been pretty solid. It's just it tends to drag a little bit. And I would have maybe gone with, well, I take that back. There's going to be a lot of curiosity views of this one because it is the mockbuster, but I want to call it like Cenobite Furries as like an alternate title.
That could be the Walmart name.
Cenobite Furries, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I dug it. I thought the female lead that played the detective was really good. I thought the entire cast, surprisingly enough, I wasn't expecting anything at all. With these movies, when they're bad, they're really bad, and so you're usually lucky if they're just okay. This was better than okay.
I like when Dan has fun with movies. It's nice.
I did Cenobite Furries. That's 2
in a row, Dan. That doesn't happen.
I know. Jason Blum, if you're listening, just put Cenobite Furries in your stupid movies, and you've cracked the code that is the Hat Man.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. It was. I did. Yeah. Yeah. Up the nudity is definitely a thing on this one, but for what it was just a fun B movie. I had a good time with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I did too. It would have been nice to have maybe a little more razzle dazzle at the end. That's where the budget kind of cut shows a little bit, but it was fun. I liked Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey a lot too.
Yeah.
So maybe they
I'm
finally figured it out.
What are you thinking rating wise? I'll go.
That's a tough
I
one.
can go first on this one because I'm kind of like on the. It's not like great. I had a good time with it, and it's better than I expected in the normal output. So I'm putting it above average at a 3. I think a 3 out of
I'm
5 is a solid rating for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a very enthusiastic 3. I can't quite go higher.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think it's like some masterpiece, but I'm like a little bit more of this, and I think we'll be happy when we review these 10,000 ITN movies that come out. Yeah,
I'm a little disappointed the Asylum didn't get in on this too.
yeah.
It's not too late. They've done a couple that are like right after too.
Yeah. So Chris has an important question that you have.
I see it. I was about to bring it up.
All right, so he asks, so if Halloween Kills had furry Cenobites, you'd like it. If they kill that fucking asshole Cody
He said kills.
Nottingham.
Kills, not end.
Kills. Okay. So if he kills that dwarf that everybody thought was Michael Myers, all the Cenobite furries just come out and just kill everybody in that stupid crowd, including just all of them. Just fucking all of them, the entire cast.
Dan,
They just
don't talk about don't.
The characters, Todd.
I know
if they take out Lori,
Dan, just
there
move
you
on.
go. Yeah, I'd like it at that point. Cenobite furries. I'll like anything with Cenobite furries. So, yeah. If you like Cenobite furries, please leave a comment on this video. And maybe we'll get that Cenobite furry movie.
I know. Okay, so out of the ones that are released, I guess there's just the 4 if we're, and best one. It's hard because they're all different. Like I didn't love, I should say. What was the Banana Splits movie when I first saw it? I think I wanted more from it.
It had some nice action and some some fun kills. I didn't like the cast very much in that, from what I remember.
Rewatching it, knowing what I was going into, I had a lot more fun with it this time, and I really did like it.
Yeah.
At Willy's Wonderlands, it's awesome. I mean, you want Cage Cage, the story's good, but it is very similar to Willy. I mean, like the core.
Willy's Wonderland, Cage is a weird guy to cast and not have him talk. You know what I mean?
I'm almost sure that was a him decision. Same, just like Crispin Glover on Charlie's Angels. I feel like that's like Cage, like, what if I didn't talk? I mean, that's something he's wanting to do. That's what it really does. Because if you got Cage, you're writing dialogue. But that could no, that's not how I'm doing this.
Then the director's like, this isn't 1996, you son of a bitch. You'll read every fucking line I wrote. And you will like it.
But yeah, I don't know. I really like them all. Well, I like the last one, but that'd be my least favorite. I had fun. See, for gore, I got to go with the other two. It's weird. I don't know, but I really like the world we created in Five Nights. I can't pick one yet.
Yeah, Willy's Wonderland, I would say, is the most enjoyable. I don't know. You know what? Five Nights at Freddy's is probably a better made movie than the Banana Splits movie.
Which one? Sorry, I was reading Ben's comment.
Willy's Wonderland would be my favorite of the three. But I
So,
might say Five Nights at Freddy's is better than the Banana Splits movie. I'd
all
have to
right.
go back and look, but I mean, now Banana Splits is at least an R-rated movie, so you know you get the gore and everything. But
Yeah,
it's like,
that's the thing. Like the both of those are, but like Ben mentioned, I didn't like the animatronics in Willie's. One was just a girl with the big head. That one was kind of weak. That she
mm.
reminded me of Bleach Woman for some reason. um, is Freddy's worthy of theater worthy or just stream? I'd say go see it on a big screen. It was a good, a good theater experience. I mean, I I can
if you
see
know
there.
what you're going in for, I mean,
Yeah,
you're not going to get the. I'm gonna as soon as we end this show, I'm gonna look at a few people's reviews because I would bet there's a lot of bitching about it not being the goofy slasher movie that they were hoping
but
for.
which is weird because that's just them taking their own whatever.
Well, that's a lot of YouTubers.
No, well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's isn't that the point of the other ones because they're upping it? Like, I mean, this is the problem is this is like the original, but it's coming out after all the other ones. You know,
Yeah.
you know what? My one thing, the first time I watched Banana Splits, why I didn't like it because those are supposed to be people in costumes, and we were making them into animatronics so we could make the movie. I think
Mhm.
that was like it was like, well, why wouldn't they just be people in costumes like they always been?
Mhm.
So
They should come up with work
I,
something out where we can just insert Nick Cage in this, like he's the new guard.
but yeah, I want to see more of this world. I mean, there's more stuff to do. I know. Yeah, we're not gonna get spoilery tonight. I'm not even gonna do spoiler section. I don't think we need to.
No, because there's a couple like if I knew more about the property, yeah.
Yeah, but all right. I do think I'm gonna play around with the other sequel games, check them out, see. But yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm definitely gonna watch this movie again when I get some more time.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, this have this double feature, honestly. I don't know. You can it's like, all right, you're okay, kid. You want to watch the Cenobite furries next?
Well, maybe not that one. Maybe either of the other two. Maybe Willie or
And I can't. It's funny. I mean, he doesn't really look like him, but I was watching this movie, or Freddy's Fridays, and I kept picturing it as friend of the show, Mike, the real Fifth Beatle, as the villain in it, and it was just making me laugh. I was popping myself. I thought it was pretty funny. So
whoops.
experience it that way. Just picture Mike as the villain.
Ben Grimm says, wasn't Chucky that way too, like a dude in a costume until he had the band? I in the beginning, I just remember the robot band. No, you know what? He came out to sing Happy Birthday. There was a dude in a costume. There was that also, but they
Mm,
always had the animatronics. I remember they had the one I used to like to go to. There was a separate room, and it was, I think it was a lion, but he was dressed up as in like the Michael Jackson outfit and just sang Michael Jackson songs. So yeah.
that might that's why they stamp your hands going in there. Uh, God, I love Chuck E. Cheese. That was so depressing that last time I went in there. And I was like, they got rid of the animatronics. What's the point? This is stupid. Don't you think that would still play in a different way for modern kids?
Which what
The animatronics, like, they're actually there. I still feel like even modern kids would
the
care about
the
that.
one the one I went to when I took the kid last time when I was in Indiana, they had
Yeah.
one animatronic and they had a screen. It was funny because I mean I used to do it all the time. So I told him like because he didn't want to get close to him. I finally got him close to him. So I wanted to stand on the stage so I could take a picture. So I made him do it. Got a picture. Then all the other kids had to go stand on the stage and take a picture with him. It was funny. Kids are funny. Sorry, random.
Yeah, yeah. It does kind of make you want to like just go back in a time machine and experience.
But it was funny because this is the one thing, because you know the new look of Chuck E. Cheese, very different. But the animatronic they had, well, you could it was like the old Chuck E. Cheese. They just put on the
Yeah.
costume over him. It was
Sick
like,
Chucky. Yeah.
yeah, they took. It's like they threw the cigar away, put on the purple T-shirt and skinny jeans on this old school animatronic. So, that
I
was
don't
funny.
mind the cigarette. Just play Enter Sandman and have him come out and just start caning himself.
I hate, Ben Grimm says he hated when they turned him into X Games Chucky in the 90s.
I
Yeah.
still feel like he was old school into at least the early 2000s.
No, the first change was it wasn't as big. There's I actually watched a thing not long ago with Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz, and it shows you the timeline. And even watching, I was like, it happened before, but yeah, it's not, the one now isn't, I think, until like even the last 10 years.
You'll have to drop that if that's like a mini doc. I'd be kind of
Yeah, it's
curious.
one of those. I gotta remember which one it was, but yeah, I'll find it. I actually kind of wouldn't want to rewatch it again because it talks about how they just, because them in Showbiz, I think it's a verse video, and it's like, it's crazy how they both blew up so quick, and there's a connection. It's pretty interesting.
The best thing, I mean, Chuck E. Cheese pizza was always, just average, but the best thing back in the day, like old school, were the breadsticks and their ranch. There was just something very specific about it, dude. Like, I would go in there sometimes and I just want to order the breadsticks with the ranch. And the last time I went, the breadsticks weren't bad or anything, but it's like it wasn't the same as when I was a kid. And yeah, there was a whole lot of like me just playing whack-a-mole, like reminiscing about when this place didn't suck last time. Whack-a-mole and sadness would describe my last trip to Chuck E. Cheese.
I think we just found your autobiography name.
Whack-a-mole and sadness?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Jury's still out on that. Cenobite furries is what kind of got to be incorporated into there somehow. Cinemax sex vampires and Cenobite furries. The Flesh Wound Dan story. Coming soon. I did whack some moles, Kruger, at the Chuck E. Cheese. Indeed I did. I even I played air hockey with Chucky once, which was kind of funny. It was kind of funny. He cheated too. He just like chucked it in the thing. I didn't appreciate it.
Well,
so anyways, on that note, guys, thanks for staying up late with us. Be sure to check out the other shows. The /Tober link for Lover's Lane has been fixed, so you can check that out. We appreciate it. And as well as Hell House LLC Origins Carmichael Manor. That review is also up as well if you weren't here earlier. So now you can all go whack your mole and cry yourself to sleep, or stay up later like me and watch Halloween Havoc. I haven't watched Halloween Havoc yet, so that's how I'm ending my night, and maybe watching this Chuck E. Cheese doc. So with that being said, happy Halloween, guys, and we will see you back here soon. Keep an eye out for some more watch-alongs.
Good night.